Good morning, and welcome to the Adirondacks. We're here to do a hike, of course. Specifically, we're going to do a hike known as the Cranberry Lake 50, which circumnavigates Cranberry Lake and is about 50 miles long. So it all makes perfect sense. This is really my first trip to the Adirondacks, so it's going to be new in a lot of ways for me. It's going to be in this part of the Adirondacks. We're in the western side. Sorry about the road noise. We're on the western side. About a 5-hour drive for me from eastern Connecticut. So it's pretty flattish here. Certainly not going to be reminiscent of the last hike in Maine, which I'm looking forward to. There is one peak that'll come later on. So we're going to take 4 nights and parts of 5 days to do this, which is a pretty easy pace given the terrain. But so what? We're not out here to kill ourselves. So let's see. So fittingly, we have 9.4 miles to do today. It's just a little before 10 now, so I get up at 4 in the morning and been mostly driving ever since. We'll be doing electronic maps, of course, but I'll try doing a little bit here the old-fashioned way to give you an overview of what's in store for the next few days. So if you find the website, the official website for the Cranberry Lake 50 trail, there's a link on there or information on how to send them $5 and they'll send you back a map, and this is the map they send you. So it's worth $5, I'd say. So that big blue spot in the middle, of course, is Cranberry Lake. And we're going to be going around that clockwise. So we're starting up here at the Burntbridge Pond Trailhead, and we're going to be hiking south initially, and it takes kind of a jog over this way and comes back and hits parts of the south shore. It goes around Cranberry Lake, but it doesn't spend a lot of time hitting the shore. So we're not going to see a whole lot of Cranberry Lake, actually. As we come into this area, this dark green area here is the Five Ponds Wilderness. So we start getting more amenities there. So here at Olmsted Pond, there's actually a shelter we'll see. And continuing on, there's the Cowhorn Pond shelter. And continuing in a westerly direction, we come to High Falls, which you may have seen in other people's videos. And continuing around the High Falls Loop Trail, High Rock, the town of Wanakina, and back up to Route 3, according to this map. Now, just very recently, there's been some new trail development to cut down on the road walk from this parking trailhead to this parking lot trailhead is 5 or 6 miles, and up until recently that was all road walk, but now there's somewhere in here a trail that will leave off of this loop and go up to near this boat ramp, and then another trail somewhere in here that will come down and meet up down here to avoid the road walk. And who wants a bunch of road walk? At 1.4 miles from the road, according to the guidebook, you come to a junction in the trail. And there's another opportunity to register. Hopefully there isn't one of these every mile along the trail. That will get tiresome. So we came from that way. Excuse me. And we're going to go that way. Dog Pond, where we're going to stay, is 8.9 miles. The next feature is Brandy Brook at 1.4. The other trail is the trail to the Cranberry Lake campsite, a state-run campsite that's, well, it says 2.4 miles from here. And that's an existing trail. It is now also part of the Cranberry Lake 50 trail. So what I've just walked on is now officially not part of the Cranberry Lake 50 trail, and that's a change within the last couple of weeks, I think. So this trail was there, but there's been some additional work done on it that will take it out to the main road, Route 3, where we were before, closer to the town of Cranberry Lake. And there is a parking lot there. I found that trailhead. But, well, I had planned the whole hike before I knew about this additional work that was done, so I'd always planned it to take it from the Burntbridge trailhead. Plus, that parking lot for the new trailhead is small, and it can't be seen from the road, whereas this one at Burntbridge is wide open. And so I felt a little more comfortable leaving my car there for 5 days. So according to, again, to the guidebook, the trail we've been on is a former railroad bed, and it's easy to believe that. It's been quite smooth and easy to walk along. So we're doing fairly well on time, as we expected. It's 10 minutes of 11, if I didn't say that before. So, well, we're going to continue our pleasant stroll. The bugs out here are not too bad, with the exception of something like, I haven't seen any mosquitoes, and there's certainly nothing like no-see-ums or gnats, but there are some kind of fly that like to buzz around your head. None right now, I'm thankful to say. Temperature is supposed to get up to 80 today here in the general Wanakina area, which is where we are. But that'll be the warmest day of the week. Highs in the upper 60s, lower 70s for the rest of our time. So it probably will perspire a little today. At 11:30, we've reached Brandy Brook here, which helpfully has a bridge across it. The trail we've been taking is also a snowmobile trail, so there are amenities on there like bridges for to help the snowmobilers. Now, look at the sky this way. You can see that well, it's mostly bluish with some light fluffy clouds, but if we go over the other way, there's some dark clouds over there, but they were pretty adamant that it wasn't going to rain today. So continuing on, we should come in a couple of tents to a campsite, which I believe will be on the shore of Cranberry Lake. Well, I don't think that was 2/10 of a mile, but I did come to a place that was clearly marked side trail to a little camping area. There's a couple of places for tents here. There's a fire ring. and there's a couple of spots that would probably do for a hammock or two. In the Adirondacks, where there's a designated camping spot, they'll tag it with one of these camp here tags, which is nice. So basically any place that doesn't have one of these isn't an official camping site. And so this site is not on the shores of Cranberry Lake. It's a little downstream on Brandy Brook. Well, just a very short time later, we come to another trail junction. Well, there's several trails here. Now, on this tree we have a total of 3 signs, all telling us about this trail is a snowmobile trail. Presumably the distances are correct, even if you're on foot. So we can tell it's 3 miles back to Route 3 where we started, so that's good information, and 7 miles on to Dog Pond, which doesn't really add up to the 9.4 that we're expecting, but it's not that far off. There's no sign right here about this other trail, but if you walk up here a few feet, way up there, it is 3.9 miles to Burntbridge Pond. So I'm pretty sure that is actually means that that's the Burntbridge Pond Trail, and so we'll be leaving that and picking up the Dog Pond Loop Trail, which continues on that way. There's a Cranberry Lake 50 blaze there. There haven't been a lot of these, but every once in a while one will pop up. So it really is helpful to know the underlying blazing of the actual trail, since the Cranberry Lake 50 is made up of a series of existing trails, and I'm pretty sure the next section is going to be have blue blazes. We'll have to check the map for that. And there's another Cranberry Lake 50 blaze going back the way we came from. There's a privy here, and there's a sign. It's not a camp here sign, it's a follow the arrow to a camp here sign. So I think that's close by. We'll go see what the camping's like. So here's our camp here marker, and our camping area. Now, one of the things that's not clear to me about this whole camp here thing is how big a radius from the camp here sign is still valid camping. So there's, you could put a tent or two right here next to that. There's a fire ring that's, what's that, 30-40 feet down there, near Brandy Brook flow, I think that is. And actually there's a sign on the tree down there that's facing the water that has the numeral 6 on it. So I assume that's a way of telling canoers that there's a campsite here. But you may have noticed this doesn't seem to be a great place for a hammock. But right back in there's a stand of pines. So how far is that? Maybe 80-100 feet. That looks like it's been used to camp in, and there is a couple of spots in there for hammocks. So I'll admit to being a little confused about exactly where one trail leaves off and another one picks up. Despite what I said back at the our last trail intersection, there continued to be red blazes 2 to here, which another kind of intersection. There's no confusion about where we're going, so that's our trail. But there is another trail off to our right here, once again down towards Brandy Flow. And I went and took a look at it, and that has a red blaze or two on it. And down right at Brandy Flow, there's a sign pointing back this way that says it's a snowmobile trail. So I don't know how the snowmobile trails get through it. Maybe it's a thing that crosses part of the lake there. I don't know. But we're going this way, which, they like to put their signs up way up in the air here. So we're clear this is the Cranberry Lake 50 and the way to Hedgehog Pond, Curtis Pond, Irish Pond, and Dog Pond. And once again, Dog Pond is 7 miles. It's always 7 miles, it seems. And if I understand how the signage works here in the Adirondack Park, the indication is we're now going to be following blue blazes. So this is where the Dog Pond Loop Trail starts, here in the middle of nowhere. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it doesn't really matter. Well, it's almost 12:30, and we've come to another campsite. This one is kind of unmarked, except for the fact that it has a privy. So I'm pretty sure they didn't put up a privy for an illegal campsite. It is mentioned in my trail guide and seems to be indicated on the official map. The trail guide and the map also suggest that I passed a few campsites since joining the blue blazed Dog Pond Loop Trail. And the guidebook says they're obscure and hard to find, and in fact I saw no trace of them at all. So I guess it's best not to count on finding those. So we are here right on the shores of Cranberry Lake, which is nice. In general, I've seen so far, there unfortunately is a fair amount of trash in campsites here. That's not trash, that's my trail guide. It's not awful, but I've been seeing more pristine camping areas of late. So here we are at Cranberry Lake. Across there, that peak is called Bear Mountain. It doesn't look like much of a mountain from here, but appearances can be deceiving. And it's not the only Bear Mountain in New York State, right? So this is the second one I know of. It's now about 1 o'clock, and we have come to the intersection with the Hedgehog Pond Trail. So it took a little longer to get here than we expected. I'm not sure how to explain that. The trail, since we've gotten to the blue blazed Dog Pond Loop Trail, it is a rougher trail than the Burntbridge trail we were on earlier. But I don't think that's really the reason. Anyway, Hedgehog Pond Trail goes 0.2 of a mile up that way to Hedgehog Pond, and then 0.3 of a mile down that way to the lake. But we're not going to go in either direction. So the CL50 continues on, and it also will bring us to the lake in about 0.6 of a mile. At about 20 after 1, we've reached a campsite at East Inlet, and apparently there's another one a few tenths of a mile on further. It's very nice here. This nice grassy area for tents, a couple of them actually. Fire ring, of course, and access to the lake. So in, just a couple minutes, I didn't really find anything that screamed out hang a hammock here, which is unfortunate. But there's a lot of trees here, so you could probably find something if you had to. All right, we'll see what the next campsite looks like. So the campsite a few tenths of a mile up the inlet is pretty similar to the first one in that it's nice and open, has grassy spots for tents, nice fire ring. This one does have a few places that I found in a minute's looking to hang a hammock. The last one had a privy, and this one doesn't appear to. And they both have excellent views of the lake. And this pretty much does it for views of the lake directly from the trail. There's a couple places where short slide trails, I think, will bring us back to the lake, and we'll probably take advantage of those. But no promises. We'll see how it's going. It is 20 after 2, and we've come to another trail intersection, this time intersecting with either the East Inlet Trail or the Curtis Pond Trail. It's called one in one source and one in the other. So from here, it's 0.1 to Curtis Pond, 1.5 to Irish Pond, and 2.2 to Dog Pond, which hopefully will be our destination, our home for the night. The Curtis Pond Trail or East Inlet Trail goes 1 mile that way back to Cranberry Lake. And trail pointing back the way we came says that we've come 7.8 from Route 3. I am standing on what appears to be the Curtis Pond camp spot. There is a camp here, sticker there on the tree behind me, as well as some fishing regulations on the tree next to it. And there is a decent spot for a tent where I'm standing. And a small fire ring, no privy. Now there is possibly a place to put up a hammock over in that area. Well, we're on to Irish Pond, which, if I can do the arithmetic, is 1.4 miles from here. It's 3:30 and we're at Irish Pond, and actually we've been at Irish Pond for a while. The trail guide makes reference to a campsite here. It's supposed to be a side trail with yellow blazing, and off the side trail is a campsite. And I've been back and forth on the trail several times, and I can't find the side trail. My guess is it doesn't exist anymore. And in fact, the map, the official Cranberry 50 map, doesn't show camping here at Irish Pond. So I did have the thought that, maybe if it was a really nice camping area here, I would stop a little early instead of going on to Dog Pond. But now we're going to go on to Dog Pond. 5 after 3, and we've come to another trail junction, which we've been trying to figure out for a while, but I must be getting tired because I know exactly where I am, but I was confused. Anyway, the trail to the left of our travel direction is the Dog Pond Loop Trail, which actually doesn't go to Dog Pond. It goes to Burntbridge Pond. So we passed the other end of this way back at the beginning of the day. Anyway, we're not going there. So, and here's a trail, signs having to do with where we've been. So you can get back to the Cranberry Lake campground or Route 3 that way, or you can go the other way. That's the nature of the loop. So, but we're not doing either of those. We're going this way to Dog Pond, point 4 it says. And our trail markers are going to change back to red. 4:15, and we are at Dog Pond. Well, more specifically, we're at the Dog Pond official camping area, where, unfortunately, in this main area, there is nothing for a hammock. There's one tree. Hard to hang a hammock from one tree. I did some quick checking. There's at least one spot kind of off to the side that will work, but we'll check a little further to try to find the best spot we can. But we won't look too long because we're ready to sit down. So off to one side of what I call the main area is another little more sheltered area, a little away from the shore. And actually, this is where the official Camp Here disc is. And so I'm going to use that tree and I'm going to use that little skinny tree there. Okay, I had to wait a minute for the wind to die down. I don't know what that's all about. So that tree is really skinnier than I would like to be. There is another tree behind it that I might be able to use for some additional support, although I don't have much line for doing that. Anyway, so up goes the tarp. So it's about 5:30 now, and we've got camp pretty well set up. We did have a brief shower pass through just after I got set up, and we managed to stay dry. So we're heating some water for a bath now. We have the Bush Buddy with us next time, but this time, but the alcohol stove's in there. Like I said, this tree here is definitely very small, but I did go ahead and tie that off to the big tree directly behind it. It was just a matter of luck that those lined up, and I think that's working out pretty well. The problem that comes up if you got a springy tree is when you sit in the hammock, it pulls the tree in, and that slackens the ridge line on the tarp. But the tarp is still pretty tight, even though I'm now sitting in the hammock. So we're under these big pine trees, which unfortunately makes it kind of dim down in here. But, well, that's all right. So I guess we'll take a bath and then make a meal and then read our book. Well, I just finished dinner and looked up and noticed that down at the pond, there's some nice light as the sun is going down. I'll let you take a look. This is not a harbinger of good weather to come. Note from Kim on the Delorme inReach is forecast is for some rain overnight and mostly rain all day tomorrow. So so you get to see another day of hiking in the rain, and I get to do it. All right. Well, we need to finish cleaning up and then get into that comfy hammock. So it's about 7:15, and we are all set for the day. So we're in the hammock, have the underquilt deployed. The top quilt's in here with me. I'm not in it yet, but probably will be before long. And we're going to spend time with our Kindle. We're kind of running out of sunlight, so it's a good thing I didn't dawdle any more than I did today. See you in the morning. We began our day at the Burntbridge Pond Trailhead. We then began our clockwise circumnavigation of Cranberry Lake. We passed the Bear Mountain Trail, which leads to the state campground. We picked up the Dog Pond Loop Trail near Brandy Flow, passed the trail to Hedgehog Pond, came to East Inlet, went away from the lake and passed Curtis Pond, Willis Pond, Irish Pond, and finally Dog Pond.